breaking news now just into us. This coming from our Fabrizio Romano. Juve and US men's national team midfielder Weston McKennie has suffered the rupture of his second and third metatarsal of his left foot after that injury against Villarreal. As Fabrizio said, bad news for Juve, bad news for the US men's national team. I mean, Ian, this is not exactly what we were not hoping for, isn't it?
No, this is not good news at all for Weston. It's not good news. He was having a very good game today as well, and his performances for Juve of late have been stunning. His performances from the national team outstanding, and clearly a massive part of what Greg Berhalter's trying to grow and build with the national team, and an important part going into this final phase of qualifying. The US are not there yet, and having no Weston McKennie, obviously we don't know how long it's going to be, but when you hear that, it doesn't sound like he's going to be returning anytime soon. It's terrible, terrible news for Juventus and for the US men's national team. Real disaster. Yeah, it's terrible news, Jimmy, isn't it? And it didn't look good as soon as it happened. He was ushered off the pitch as soon as possible. I mean, from a US perspective, what does this mean now with a crucial window just around the corner?
Yeah, I'm going to look at this glass half full, Pop, because I got no other way. It's just in my DNA to think like this. But the last time we lost somebody significant, whether it was Christian Pulisic or Gio Reyna, we had Brendan Aronson emerge as somebody we could trust and rely on. Timo Weah has stepped up and been somebody we can count on and trust. And I think that's important, that we're going to have this next man up mentality within the team. And I'm curious to see which player is going to get that opportunity to shine, because that first game on March 24th, which is on Paramount Plus, everybody, against Mexico, is going to be a big stage. Estadio Azteca is not an easy place to play, and I'm curious to see who he's going to go with. If it's maybe one of our younger players who doesn't get as many minutes, or if it's going to be one of his trusted lieutenants that we've seen in other iterations of qualifying. So, yeah, we got some decisions to make. I'm highly emotional right now, so I'm going to pass the mic to somebody else. I'm so sad for Weston.
Yes, Jimmy, I totally understand. It was quite a tough challenge. I think when he received the weight of Estupiñán, I think it was the one who made the slide. It was just he took the feet underneath of his body, and well, it was difficult to see. I didn't even want to watch it. We put it a few times, but in this kind of situation, it's quite difficult to watch it again because it feels just strange. And definitely, it's going to be a tough situation for Berhalter because he's one special player. Not only because he's a fighter into the middle, because he's a player who can play with the ball, because what he adds in attack is a player who enjoys just making runs into the box, and that's something very difficult to find on these days. A player who can enjoy and find the right moment to get involved to score goals, but also he's a personality, he's a character inside the dressing room. You've seen when he was left into the national team, when he came back, and everybody was waiting for his return. So I think it's a big miss for this US national team, and hopefully they can replace it with a player with the similar qualities, because I think it's going to be tough to find one.
Yeah, obviously it's a big blow to the US national team. He's a big part of the personality of the group. He's certainly one of the leaders and one of the best players. But, you know, the national team is all about being a team, being a group. Everybody has to step up and be ready for big moments. Right now, I think all the players have to get through the next few weeks in their club team responsibilities, and then the focus and concentration for these last few games has to be at such a high level, and we have to have a group that shows the American mentality, that shows the American spirit, that steps on the field and does whatever it takes for each other to find a way to get results in these games. So, yeah, it's a big bummer, but with these moments also come opportunities, and I think we'll see some other players step up and be ready to go.
Yeah, I think it's a big challenge now for Greg to try and get it right without Weston. I love the point you made there, Jesse, about character. These types of characters that you have, like a Weston McKennie, they're hard to replace in the locker room. So important to have his energy, his positivity, his drive pushing the team. And of course he comes with some flaws. We witnessed that already earlier in the qualification process where he had a disciplinary suspension, and that was massively disappointment. But the fact that he's missing out for these 3 huge games, potentially, I mean, obviously we don't know exactly what it is, but it doesn't look good that he's going to be there. So I'm really disappointed. Obviously, it hits pretty hard when Weston, the news comes out of Weston even being in that type of injury. It's really disappointing. After what happened with Gio Reyna, it's not been a good weekend for the US men's national team players for health. And I think now we have to look at Greg and what he's going to do. And I look forward to seeing who those players are that really need to step up, because you're not just going into any 3 games. These are the 3 biggest games that we have had for this group of players. They haven't faced anything like this type of situation, and to not potentially have Weston McKennie in amongst the group is tremendously disappointing.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.